You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are patterned. Every result in your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, your peace, tracks back to a program running beneath the surface. You didn't consciously choose it, and you absolutely have the power to change it. Welcome to Enable No More, Take Back Your Power, the podcast for cycle breakers, pattern disruptors, and anyone ready to stop giving their power away and start leading their life today. I'm your host, Jen McCutcheon, personal power, trauma, and recovery coach, speaker, author, and disruptor. And this is where awareness becomes agency, legacy-level healing, and the root system of recovery. Let's dive in and take back your power. I want to take you back to a moment where I had been sitting in my living room about 10 years ago. I had been crying for hours to the point of absolute exhaustion. I was numb and I was done. For years, I had been parenting and partnering through addiction and mental health. I had been struggling and watching my loved ones struggle. I had been literally watching my loved ones disappear before me, and at the same time, disappearing myself. The suffering is like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I had been completely broken down. And in that moment, after crying my eyes out and staring at a blank wall for hours and hours and hours, I heard my own voice in my mind. And here's what it said. I am the common denominator. I am the common denominator. I have been in every situation, every moment of suffering. I've been there. Holy shit, it's me. It's me. It was such a friggin' wake up. It was such a moment. And I didn't recognize it at the time, but that moment is when Enable No More was born. Welcome. I'm Jen McCutcheon, and this is Enable No More, Take Back Your Power podcast. And this is episode 1. And I am going to tell you exactly why I started this and why I believe that what you're about to hear could change everything for you too. I had been walking alongside my loved ones in addiction for over 25 years. My first husband struggled with mental health and addiction when my children were very, very young. My second husband struggled with mental health and alcoholism. And my son's journey as a teen entering into substance abuse and mental health struggles. I fell into the role, as so many do, as fixer, saver, and trying to hold it all together, the entire family unit together, other children and siblings that were being impacted by their father and their brother's substance use, the family breakdown. For those of you who are moving through this right now, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to say it. You just know. Trying so hard to figure it out. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. Trying so hard to figure it out. How do I keep it all together? How do I stop this from falling apart? I thought I was helping and I was enabling, not from a place of weakness, but from my own patterns, which I didn't know at the time. Because here's the truth. You can't love someone out of their patterns while you're still running your own. You can't see it. Nobody told me. And actually, even if they did try and tell me that I was perpetuating the cycles of addiction, I couldn't hear them because I was so deeply into my belief systems, what I thought I was supposed to do as a mother, as a wife, to love my loved ones, especially my child. For me, there's a different experience loving a partner that's experiencing addiction and loving a child. My role as mom was to fix, to nurture, to protect. Whew. And wow, did I lose myself in the process. And at the time, I thought it was because I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't a good enough mom. There's obviously something wrong with me. This must be my fault. So I dug deeper and fought harder and tried everything and anything I could get my hands on to try to make this change happen, to save my child. And what happened in that moment when I recognized that I was part of the process of suffering, that I was the common denominator, that I had a role, a contributing role, unintentionally, but still a contributing role to the cycles. But that moment was a pivotal moment. It was when I actually stopped looking at them and started to look at myself. That was the moment that I took radical responsibility for myself and my role to stop contributing to my own suffering, but to the suffering of my entire family. I no longer was enabling them. I decided in that moment that I would no longer enable. Now, let me tell you, it took a lot of practice to stop enabling, but it was a choice. It was an awareness. It was an activation where I recognized I was part of the problem unintentionally. And the bigger piece of this, enable no more, is that I was no longer going to enable myself to stay stuck in this place of suffering. It was a moment of awakening. And trust me, I had many. This was not the only one. There were many moments of awakening, and all of them had their place and their divine time. But what I recognized that day and continued to understand on deeper levels, underneath enabling, it isn't failure. It isn't weakness. It's a pattern. It's a program. It is belief systems, thoughts that are the driving force behind every decision that I was making. My own wounds were triggering the enabling and codependency. My conditioning, how I was raised, the belief systems that I was raised in, the societal and cultural programs, the meta programs that I call them, and my generational inheritance, right? Just like I have green eyes that get passed down through my lineage, we can also be passed down with trauma and wounds and belief systems that are in within us that we're not even aware of. This is unconscious programming in the subconscious mind, which is also our bodies. And the truth is, their addiction didn't create my patterns, it revealed them. Their addiction didn't create my patterns. I want to say that again. They didn't create my patterns, they revealed them. The pain pushed me to a new vision. It revealed what needed to be healed. The need to try to fix, solve, save came from my own deep desire to feel like I was enough. It's powerful when we come to radical responsibility to recognize that enabling and codependency, because I was codependent, and codependent is the desire, the need for something outside of yourself to feel better. I needed my loved ones to go to treatment. I needed them to get better for me to be better. I was dependent on them. And guess what? This is what this is all about. Enabling and codependency is no different than addiction. It's a pattern. It's not a moral failing. It's actually a survival response. It's a wound that needs to be healed. It's a pattern that is running deep. And most often, almost always, it is a pattern that is a lineage pattern. It is passed down from generation to generation. And I always say, if you open the book and take a look, you will see these patterns. And it's not just addiction to substance. It is not just enabling and codependency. There are patterns running all the time under the surface. And whatever the catalyst is, for me, it was my loved one's addiction. 25 years of loving my loved one's addiction, where I was asking, why? Why me? Why? Why is this happening to me? Why me again? My first husband, second husband, then child. At one point, I'm like, holy shit, man, I must have done something really wrong in a past life. That is a belief system that I'm being punished, when actually the entire time I was being prepared. I was moving through initiations and activations to awaken and remember who I am and who I am not. The patterns running underneath the surface is not who I am, and it is not who you are. You are so much more. You are so much more. And this isn't just about addiction, the story of addiction. It's a human story. My story is your story. My story is so many people's story. Everywhere I go, I share, I talk, I express what my journey has been. And I swear to you, every single time I do, I am met with me too. Me too. And that's what Enable No More is. That's what we're here to talk about. Addiction isn't the problem. The suffering that you're experiencing isn't the problem. It's the feedback. It's the data that there's a pattern running underneath that isn't you. And it's calling you to awaken to who you are. It's showing you the exactly where that pattern lives within you. And you have the power to disrupt it, to take back your power from that pattern and create new patterns. And that's exactly what I did. I took back my personal power that day where I recognized I was a contributing factor. I started to do my own trauma and I began recovery coaching. That's how I am here today, continuing my own healing and recovery journey, because here's the truth, we're all recovering from something. We are all recovering from a pattern that is running underneath the surface. I'm a FAM ambassador, Preventative Health Awareness Month and Movement, where we are working towards creating prevention in addiction and recovery, breaking the generational cycles, helping individuals understand they're not broken. They're just being cracked open. You are being called to lead, to heal for generations to come. Right here in the town that I live in, Belleville, Ontario, in Canada, we are in a state of emergency for addiction, mental health, suicide, and homelessness. So I decided to take my knowing, take my teachings to help my community. And we launched through FAM the Belleville Real Lives Touched by Addiction event. It was a sold out event. It was powerful, bringing together not just individuals impacted by addiction, but family members, community service providers, frontline workers, police, paramedics, nurses, doctors, dignitaries, all showing up to take a preventative approach, to take a solution-focused approach. People want change. And when we want something, we have to be willing to do something. And I was blown away at the people that showed up, the conversations that were had, the stories that were shared, all the same stories in slightly different ways. It is potent, the power of storytelling. When we can get vulnerable and real and raw with what is actually going on in mental health, addiction, and everything in between. And everything in between, we are all recovering from something. And what we're recovering from are patterns. And that Real Lives Touched by Addiction event moved into a podcast, a collaborative podcast called Real Life Touched by Addiction, where I was co-hosting with 3 other beautiful individuals. And if you haven't checked out that podcast, please go and do so. Powerful, powerful. The more we can share, the more we can amplify the message and the more that we can bring healing and recovery, because we're all impacted. Recovery isn't just from substance, it's from patterns, it's from programs, it's from false identities, believing that you are something that you are not. And when you start to disrupt those patterns and take back your power, anything is possible, limitless possibilities to what you can create and co-create in your life. Because really, truly, what we're recovering from, we're recovering our soul's truth. We're recovering our authentic self. We're recovering and closing the gap between who we think we are and who we truly are. That false identity to that true identity. And this is all subconscious programming, which is a missing piece of the puzzle in the recovery world. We're here to dive deep into root system recovery. We're here to get to the root of the problem, which is a pattern. And when we disrupt that pattern and we change the way that we believe, see, think, perceive our experiences and the experiences that we are going through, that's where we create massive change. So 25 years of walking alongside my family members and individuals through my coaching, my own personal struggles, trauma healing, spiritual psychology. These are things that I've been studying and training and using, embodying for myself in my own healing and recovery journey. NLP, neuro linguistical programming. This is all subconscious reprogramming, getting to the root of the problem. Nervous system regulation. I had to create safety within myself, and I still do. I still am doing this work. Emotional mastery, regulating my emotions, understanding the power of my emotions, what my emotions are actually showing and teaching me, how to regulate my central nervous system through breath work and meditation, and the invitation to change approach, which is this beautiful new program of understanding what is truly going on in addiction to help family members to be able to become that living example of healing and recovery. I did all this training. I took all these different certifications and studied this stuff for my own healing. And then I started to recognize, holy shit, I can actually help other people, because the more I started to share my story, the more feedback I got. Everybody's going through this in slightly different ways, and I can help them. They've been trying to heal. This recovery and relapse is part of the process of change. But it's also because we're only healing at the surface level. The systems that are out there weren't built to get to the depth that we need to go to really, truly, sustainably heal and recover. So I started to share this work, and it morphed into Enable No More, recovery coaching, personal power, and trauma healing. This is the answer. Real change happens not at the surface, but at the root. And this was the vision of helping people to heal and to create legacy level healing and change. Because when you break the pattern, you force the entire system to reorganize itself. That's the power that we have. So whether you're loving a loved one in addiction, whether you are moving through something incredibly challenging, it starts with you. The healing, the recovery, the pattern interrupt, it starts with you. That is where we break enabling and codependency. We're not waiting for somebody else to do it for us. We're not waiting for something outside of ourselves to change. We are the change that we're looking for. You are who you've been looking for this entire time. It's not another thing. It's not another appointment. It's not another rehab. It's not another whatever it is that you've tried that you keep saying hasn't worked. It's that you're looking for something outside of yourself. And yes, we need other things to help us. We need other things to support us on our healing journey. Absolutely. The more options we have, the better. But when you start leaning on yourself and start doing your own work and healing and breaking those patterns within yourself, that's when the ripple starts to impact everybody and everything around you. There's a reason that you're here today. There's something that brought you here. Maybe it's an addiction of your own. Maybe it's a loved one who's experiencing addiction. Maybe it's a relationship breakdown, a divorce. Maybe it's a career shift. Maybe you're not happy with where you are, but you don't know what to do, and you just keep repeating the same cycles, but you're not happy, you're not fulfilled. Maybe your body is shutting down, you're struggling with dis-ease or disease of some kind. There's something that you're feeling that you cannot name, but it keeps showing up. I want to remind you here, it's not the problem. That thing is not the problem. It's not the addiction is the problem. The relationship, the partner, the career, the disease that's showing up is not the problem. It's the feedback. It's a signal for you that there is a pattern running underneath the surface, and it's calling you to break it, to disrupt it, and to take back your power. Because here's the truth. You are not broken. You are being cracked open to remember who you are, to be the one that gets to go first, to break the cycles, to take radical responsibility for yourself, to choose you, to love yourself. Because here's the truth. Recovery begins when you believe that you are worthy of being saved. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It is the most selfless thing that you can do. Because when you choose yourself, it means you love yourself and you deserve that you believe that you are worthy of more. And when we want more, we can take action to do more and to create the change for ourselves that we are looking for. This is the root level of recovery. You are the heart of healing. You are here to heal and to create lasting healing and change for generations to come. And that's what this podcast is all about, to go deep into the patterns, to break them, to disrupt them, and to take back our power. Because back in that living room that day, that night was the beginning of remembering who I am, how powerful I am, how whole I am, that I am enough, and so are you. And here's the truth. Nothing outside changed that day. Same circumstances were happening around me, but internally something changed. I chose me. And the me that you see here today, it's taken a lot for me to get here, but it was worth every second, every breath, every time I chose myself. And that's what I want for you. That's my intention with this podcast. So if something aligned for you today, if this is resonating with you, I'm going to invite you to follow the show so that you never miss an episode. Please leave a review. It takes 2 minutes and it helps this message reach the people who need it most. So thank you so much for joining me today. I believe in you. I see you. Let's keep doing this together, because what I know to be true is we heal, we rise, and we recover better together. Sending you so much love. See you next time. The biggest thanks for tuning in for another episode of Enable No More, Take Back Your Power podcast. If you loved this episode, I invite you to share it with a friend or tag me on social media. I'd love to hear what landed for you. And if you feel called, please take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star review. It helps this podcast grow and reach more people who need it. Until next time, remember, disrupt the pattern and take back your power.